All right, so unless you've been living under a rock in the hip hop game, there's been a lot of stuff in America. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened. We got a new president, and everybody doesn't exactly like him. He's not the most heartwarming person. And Snoop Dogg and Nelly and Soulja Boy performed at events connected to his inauguration, and there's a lot of people that are not happy about that, especially after Snoop Dogg said stuff like this.
Nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass for doing it. Which one of you is gonna do it first? I was the one that performs for himself.
Which of course is kind of funny looking back at it. It's literally you going against your own word. I don't know if Snoop Dogg forgot that he said that. I don't know if he's had a change of heart. There's really not a lot of context here, outside of the fact that there was probably money shoved in his face. And you know, Snoop Dogg did what Snoop Dogg does. He went out and he performed. But a lot of people are mad with him because they do not like Donald Trump. They don't like Donald Trump. They feel he's racist. And when you speak out against Trump as well, calling him and his supporters racist, and then you go out and throw a show for them, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Snoop Dogg. What people are mad about is that when you associate with somebody who's racist or hateful or is seen that way, you grant legitimacy to those people. You make those people normal characters instead of what they really are, which is con men and dictators. And I understand Trump is a very powerful person. He's got followers that will literally believe anything he says. He's a very dangerous person in my opinion. I know some people that don't feel that way. They're cheering and they love him, but that is not a topic for this video. What we are gonna talk about is Snoop Dogg and the move he made. Now I gotta tell you in advance, I'm not necessarily mad at Snoop Dogg or Nelly. Soulja Boy can go fuck himself. I've never liked anything about Soulja Boy, but I'm not really mad at those other two rappers, you know, or Lil Wayne, who actually was pardoned by Donald Trump, or I'm not mad at those people, even though I don't like Donald Trump. Now, does that mean that I like the move they did or that I would have done the same thing? No, I would have not done the same thing as them, but I am not them. And the reason I'm not mad at them is that in my life, I learned that sometimes you just gotta let people cower. I think that what he did was hypocritical and cowardly, but you can't get mad at people for cowering out. You know, you gotta allow people the chance and the mercy to run away. Let me explain what I mean, and I'm gonna try my best to explain it with two stories. One of them really happened to me, so stay tuned for that. Let me explain Snoop Dogg and his actions with these stories. All right, for story one, this actually happened. When I was a little kid, I used to get picked on a lot. I was picked on from the time I was in kindergarten, pretty much every day, all the way until I started fighting back when I was in 5th grade. So I learned to defend myself. And when I started defending myself, that's when bullies started backing off. Bullies do not like targets that fight back. They like soft targets, but that's a video for another day. Anyways, so that's me in 5th grade, fighting back. Bullies ain't messing with me. But then I get to 6th grade. Now I'm in middle school. And I met this kid. Now, to protect the innocent, I'm gonna change his name. Since he looked like the character Milhouse from The Simpsons, I'm gonna call him Milhouse. So just picture Milhouse. So I'm in 6th grade and I see Milhouse and he's getting picked on a lot. He's a scrawny little kid. He's a nerdy little kid. And I'm not getting picked on because bullies know that I'll punch him in the mouth. But Milhouse is really tiny and I don't think he knows how to fight, and he's just scared. I mean, his little skinny legs are wobbling all the time. So anyways, there was these bullies at the school that I saw picking on Milhouse. Now these bullies were like legit, you know, like it's one thing when you have a big dude who wants to whoop your ass, but it's another thing when you have bullies that are like a gang, like they're a club, like there's a whole bunch of them. You know you got bullies, when your bullies have goons. That's what I'm gonna say about that. But anyways, one day I saw these goons, these bullies picking on Milhouse. I said, you know what? Fuck that shit. I'm gonna stand up for Milhouse. So I got up and I got the attention of all those bullies that surrounded Milhouse. I said, hey, why you messing with him? Why don't you mess with me first? You know, somebody that's gonna punch you back. And they all turned their attention away from Milhouse and to me. I was like, yeah, that's right. Leave this kid alone. Mess with me instead. See what happens to you. You see, I'm used to defending myself, so I'm perfectly fine. I look over at Millhouse and he looks even more terrified. The bullies turn their attention to me and they said, oh yeah, you want to fight? They're basically surrounding me, getting ready to jump me. Millhouse is even more scared. So now we're surrounded and Millhouse says something that I'll never forget. He looks at me and then he looks at the bullies and he says, I didn't even ask this pussy to stand up for me anyways. Why would I want to be friends with you? That's what he said to me. The guy who stood up for him, he turned his attention to me and he made fun of me. Just like that, talk shit to me and the bullies started laughing. They're like, wow, Millhouse, you're a pretty cool kid. Maybe you can hang out with us. And he joins their gang and they all surround me. So now I have a bunch of enemies to deal with and I tried to do the right thing. But Millhouse was a coward. I was mad for a long time. I ran into him in the locker room one time and it was just me and him and he cowered. He asked me to not beat him up, despite the fact that that same day he had been talking shit. And you know what? I let him go. I forgave him. I said, you know what? Just get out of here. And that was it. I never did anything to Millhouse. Millhouse was now part of a gang, or he was now part of the bullies gang. But I understand why he did that. You see, Millhouse was I'm sure he was grateful that I stood up for him. I'm sure he understood it was a nice gesture. However, I couldn't offer him what the bullies could. The bullies had goons, the bullies had the cool kids table. The bullies had the jocks. They had all of the cool kids. They had the girls. Millhouse wanted that. Me, I didn't have any of that to offer him. I was just trying to keep him from getting picked on. But he used me to step on my back and join that gang. And Millhouse was accepted by that gang off my back. And I know that's very messed up, but that man is a coward and he needed protection that I couldn't offer him. Now, isn't that a fitting metaphor for many of the men that you see nowadays? So what does this have to do with Snoop Dogg? Well, let me tell you one more story. And this story is a metaphor. All right, in this story, I'm gonna make it like it's a bedtime story. But listen to this example. You have a dragon, a big powerful dragon that's terrorizing a village. So the king sends 3 men out to take care of this dragon. The king had to send 3 men to take care of this dragon. This dragon was powerful and it was terrorizing the village. And we'll call these men man number 1, man number 2, and man number 3. So they send man number 1 to go and defeat the dragon at the castle. The man arrives and he says, "Dragon, I'm here to slay you." The dragon says, "Oh yeah?" Then he stands up and he shows how big he is and he breathes fire and he goes, "You're gonna beat me?" Just then, man number 1 gets scared. He drops his sword and shield and he drops to his knees and he says, please, dragon, please forgive me. I would never try to hurt you. Please forgive me. Please let me run away." The dragon says, "Okay, fine, you can run away." So the man picks up his sword and shield and he runs back to the village and he goes, "Hey guys, I talked to the dragon. He's not gonna be fucking with you anytime soon. I took care of him." Then the next day, the dragon begins terrorizing the village again. So they have to send another guy. So they send guy number 2, man number 2. Man number 2 goes up to the dragon and says, "Dragon, I'm here to slay you." The dragon says, "Oh yeah?" Stands up, shows how powerful and big he is. He even breathes fire. And this frightens man number 2. Man number 2's legs start shaking. He then says, "Okay, check it out, dragon. Obviously I can't slay you, but what if we make a deal? What if you offer me protection and in exchange, I'll go back to the village and tell the village that you're a good dragon, that they got you all wrong. Deal? Let's form an alliance, dragon." The dragon says, "Okay, I like that deal. Yeah, go back to the village and tell them they got me all wrong. And in exchange, I will protect you and you can join my side." "Thanks, dragon." Guy goes back to the village and says, "Don't worry, the dragon won't be bothering you anytime soon. I took care of him." Very next day, the dragon is terrorizing the village again. The king is annoyed, so he sends his most noble guy. He sends man number 3. Man number 3 goes to the dragon and says, "Dragon, I'm here to slay you." The dragon says, "Oh yeah?" Stands up, shows how powerful he is, breathes fire. "You think you're gonna defeat me?" Man number 3 is scared, his legs are shaking, and he responds, "Yeah, I'm gonna slay you, dragon." The dragon laughs and says, "All right, how about this? I'll cut you a deal. If you run away in 10 seconds, I will not kill you." The man is shaking, man number 3 is shaking, he's scared. And he says no. The dragon says, "All right, how about this? Why don't you join my alliance? And I will make you more wealthy and more powerful than you've ever been." Dragon is offering a pretty good deal and the man is scared, but he says, "No, I got sent here to slay you." The dragon says, "Oh, so you're not gonna run away and you're not gonna take a bribe?" And the dragon says, "Nope," raises his sword and shield and goes to battle. Now that dragon probably killed that guy, but that's the point. That's a real man. He got sent. He had a duty and he got sent, and he stuck to his deal. He stuck to his promise. As a man, sometimes you're gonna run into fights that you don't wanna fight. There's fights that you just can't win sometimes. And when you're cornered and you are a man, sometimes you gotta fight these unwinnable fights, or the fights that seem unwinnable. That's how champions are made. So how does this tie in with Snoop Dogg and what he did? Well, you gotta understand that Snoop Dogg has not been poor since like the 80s. He is not a Martin Luther King guy. And in fact, not only is Snoop Dogg not some social justice warrior, but he's also been known to be a fence sitter. He's also very much a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? Give him some money, he might yes and massa you. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of what he does. He's not here to fight a revolution. He's Snoop Dogg. He's here to sell you the iPhone 16 while standing next to Patrick Mahomes. All right, life is going good for him. He doesn't want this thing collapsing, all right? The price is rising. Snoop Dogg isn't really feeling the pinch quite as much as somebody who works at Safeway. All right, Snoop Dogg and Nelly and all these people are out for money. In fact, a lot of rappers look at Donald Trump, because let's be real, Donald Trump is the most successful con man of all time. He is the most successful criminal of all time. He got the presidency, which makes him super gangsta and represents what a lot of rappers brag to be about. But you want to talk about gangs versus somebody that overthrows a government, not the same thing. But either way, when it comes to Snoop Dogg, you gotta forgive the guy. He probably was too scared of that drag. It's like, come on, cuz. I ain't trying to fight that dragon, cuz. Me and Patrick Mahomes just trying to sell you the new iPhone 16. On us, cuz. Come on, man. See, maybe Snoop Dogg didn't want to fight the dragon. He probably should have shut up about the dragon and not talked any crap about it, and then later go and bow out. But you gotta forgive him. You gotta love him. He's not, because Snoop doesn't mean any harm. And sometimes people gotta be allowed to make mistakes without the fear of being canceled or thrown into a grinder. Because if you cancel Snoop and you diss Snoop, he's gonna turn his head and he's gonna see Donald Trump waving money in his face. And you know what? He's gonna join Donald Trump. Because if you basically kick him out, just like they did with Joe Rogan and all that, if you come after these people and you attack them, you are gonna drive them into the arms of your enemies. Those three men all had a task, and that was to slay the dragon. The first man was a coward. He ran away. The second man took a deal with the dragon, and the third man put his life on the line because he knew that dragon had to die. He ignored every bribe. He ignored the fact that he was scared, and he took it on. But Snoop Dogg, which man is he? Well, is he man number one? Is he man number two? Or is he man number three? I feel like he's more like man number two. I think he cut a deal. But either way, y'all have to know that not everybody has the same level of education as you. Not everybody understands what Donald Trump did. And the people that do might understand it from very different perspectives. I personally don't like the guy, and I will always speak out against him. I'm not a fan of the guy. That's just my opinion. However, I do not like when people attack other people for their beliefs, because you're gonna close their minds. I'm not saying give in to what they say, always be truthful, always be honest, but give men a chance to cower. Maybe you're braver than them. Maybe you're smarter than them. Maybe not. But either way, if there's a dragon to slay, don't get mad if you have to send multiple men to do it. Anyways, that's my story. That's me explaining Snoop Dogg and my examples. Anyways, thank you so much for staying till the end. I'm thinking of starting a series like this where I just explain little social, political, not quite political, but more social commentary. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who was Snoop Dogg? Are you guys still mad at Snoop Dogg? You think everybody's tripping? Let me know what your thoughts are. And please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every subscriber helps. I'm trying my best to put out content, but I'm a working man, so. But anyways, thank you very much for your time.